Alright everybody, like I said, I'm going to show you all how to throw some pitchers, or at least how I throw a pitcher. This is what I came out with. Here, let me get this to where I can see. But, yeah. This is what I came up with. I really like this design. I like the way I pour it. I like this idea of just pouring like that. I was trying to decide earlier, because I knew I wanted to make some pitchers, but trying to decide a functioning handle that wouldn't be normal handle, I guess. I don't know. Sometimes these can get pretty heavy and handles don't always want to stay on that well, but I looked at this again and I was like, oh, I might as well just make some more of these. And yeah, so I really like this idea of just pouring like that. Something about these though, I learned about, I guess you could say, copper pooling, where there's, I think, just a little too much copper in there. I'm pretty sure it's the product of the copper pooling in large areas, but there's all these bubbles here and they crack and flake. So this is not a pitcher, this is a flower pot. But over here, I made one earlier. It's pretty much the same concept. Got some nice throwing lines in there. I only got one made because I have trouble getting these real nice throwing lines like this. But I don't know. I'm getting more used to it. It's just something I've always liked to do when it comes to just making pots, is having nice throwing lines like that. Nice deep pocket throwing lines. It's one of my professors in college, Brent Shoulders, he made nice throwing lines in his pots. I really enjoyed looking at those. And it's kind of where a lot of that inspiration came from. But this one turned out pretty good. I'll go ahead and throw another one. Something to think about with this video is just making a cylinder. And something I learned, or a way that I have learned to throw, and has made me a lot better at throwing, I feel, is watching people throw cylinders. And the cylinder is really basic when it comes to making a pot. If you can make a cylinder, you can pretty much make anything you want. I mean, if you want to make a bowl, maybe you don't want a cylinder, but cylinder you can do a lot with. That's also something I've learned in college. But just from watching people, like I said, throwing cylinders helps you out a lot. It's helped me anyways, especially throwing bigger pots. Now these bats right here are made out of HardieBacker. They pull out a lot of moisture in the clay pretty quick. It's kind of a good thing. It could be a bad thing, really. Also, I've had a few pots where the bottoms have dried out too fast. I feel like it pulled out a lot of the moisture too quick, but I flipped them over this time on the other side because there's a little bit different texture on each side of these bats I have, these HardieBacker squares. But yeah, I think that'll be a good camera angle. Yeah, let's go ahead and start from there. Now, throwing a piece of clay about this size, I'll usually try to, or any piece of clay really, it's good to get that bottom part sealed off so it doesn't want to slide around. I'll do a little bit of wedging on the bat. Some people, they'll just kind of go like this and go straight back down. And other people will just work on the outside really and not go so high up. But it's good to get it's a good way to get the clay centered. Pretty much the big thing about centering is just moving the clay around. You got to move it around a little bit to do anything. Can't do much whenever you don't move it very far, because all the clay moving together, when you get all the clay into the mix where it's all spinning around and everything's pushing on each other, seems to work out better. And yeah, everything starts getting more centered since it's all going in a circle. I feel like it's probably better that I turn the camera this way now. Yeah. Alright. And last time I did this, I just went like this to make the first hole. A lot of times I'll use this part of my hand, but this clay's pretty hard, so I couldn't do that as well. But from here, I'll go like that. That's the other way I like to open. I'll just push my knuckle in there like that. A lot of the people that I've met personally, like high school teachers and some of my professors in college, they would all get something and really compact the bottom like this. And for me, I feel like that helps a lot. I don't know, I almost never have bottoms crack, even during the drying stage. And I never had one crack that I did that with while firing. It's a nice little move there. Still feel like I need to get this bottom a little thinner. Or the bottom walls. Bottom walls, just this part right here. How about that? That part down there needs to be not as wide. Okay. That's not bad right there. Go ahead and pull it up. There's a few different ways I like to pull up. A lot of times, knuckle pull is the best way to go for the first few. Something about before you pull up, it's good to have an idea of what you're going to make, what size of pot you're going to make, so you can kind of use the shape you've made before you pull it up to your advantage. It's like one of those things in life, one of those philosophical things, you know. It's good to have a good base to start with. And in this case, a base that is going to help me get the shape I want. Now that kind of just gets in the way down there towards the end. I also always want to bring it up too. And a lot of times when I do that, I end up messing up. Something I've learned about rims, making the rim flat, is if you got it out, if you were pulling it out, how I had it, and the top goes a little wobbly, it's good to push it back in. Like I was saying earlier, to get something centered, all you really have to do is move it. But you got to be considerate of your pressure and what you're pushing against. Go. See, I'm getting this part down here again. See, I could try to just push it in. See, it kind of went a little wobbly. That's okay. I don't have too hard of a time fixing it. I'll go ahead and clean off some of the slip and straighten it up. Alright, now here comes the tricky part. Now, I think the way I need to do this, I just need to get a, I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain. It's something I've been always trying to think about how my hand placement needs to be to get a nice consistent throwing line going all the way up. And it's not all about the hand placement either. It's a lot about the timing that you pull up. So I've had a lot of luck slowing down the wheel a lot. I always like to try to do it a different way though. At least haven't found a way that really is sunk in. But I need to be sure to get the pot nice and wet. Let's go ahead and color it in just a little more. See there, I pushed that in. And I have these two fingers right there. This one to kind of straighten out the top. Alright, let's see how I can do now. Now this one, I'm going to have my knuckle pretty close to the same place as my inside hand. Yeah, and that didn't work all that great, actually. Yeah, I ended up picking up. My inside finger is pretty high above my outside finger. Yeah. That's not all that bad. I kind of like that. It's just not as deep as I'd like it. But a functioning aspect of this design is whenever you go to hold it, and your hands will kind of fall into those grooves there, and if the grooves were bigger, your hands would fall into it better. But I'm kind of happy with how this one turned out right now. And it's not too terribly hard for me to go in and try again. I'm trying to decide if I want to or not. I don't think I'm going to. I feel like that's pretty good when it comes to how deep I want those ridges in my throwing lines. But here for my next step, I'll bring it in a point about right here. Seems like a good idea. I'll flare it out a little bit. When you're making a picture, the nice thing is you don't really have to make the top all super straight. Alright. Now I'm pretty happy with that. Still got quite a bit of clay down at the bottom there, but